Hey guys, this is my 1999 Nissan Stagea. This is just going to be a super brief introduction to the car. I'm not going to go into too much depth in this video as I've got a few other things planned to show you in the future, but I'll just give you a quick rundown now before I get stuck into it. So basically this car is a factory RB25DET NEO. It's been converted from auto to a 5-speed manual out of an R33 GTR, and when it was converted it also had an S14 subframe put in. As far as the engine and driveline goes, it's relatively stock. It's just had a turbo back exhaust fitted, a front mount, a pod filter and a boost heat. But the muffler that's on it is super quiet and it also has a hideous tip. So I'd like to change that, give it a bit of a nicer sound and also make it look a bit nicer from the back there. The muffler that I'm going to be using is a Varex adjustable muffler, and the tips are going to be a blast pipe style or shotgun style 2-in-1 3-inch stainless steel. So I've already cut those pieces. I can go into a bit more depth in a future video if people are interested in how I did that. But in the meantime, I'll go ahead and show you those pieces now in the jig that I 3D printed so that I can tack it all together nice and easy and make sure that all the angles are correct. So here's all the pieces set up in the jig that I printed. My idea with this is basically so that I can tack these in place and get these angles correct. So obviously we want this piece to be aligned that way, that piece that way, because I'll need to weld all the way around here, all the way around there, and then put the two pieces together and then do this section, and then I can do the top section. So I'm going to give that a go now. It's been a while since I've welded, probably about 5 years. I wasn't that amazing to begin with, so we'll see how we go. Something I forgot to mention before, but which I'll try and show you now, is these are the lines that are left over from the marking tool, and so because I know that these are at 90-degree increments, it will help to not only align within the jig but also align these lines to each other, because although the jig is perfect, the cuts that I made are obviously not going to be, you know, as perfect as they quite possibly could be, you know, if we got a laser cut or something like that. So there is a bit of room or margin for error there, but combining the jig with those lines should get me pretty close. Came out pretty good. So now normally what you would do is weld all the way around this piece, all the way around this piece, and then obviously join them together. Whoops. Join them together. But because I want to test fit it on the car, I'm going to tack everything in place and then I will just break off these top tacks, so then I can finish weld it and then put it all together. Because I'd rather not weld it all together now and then find that I've made the tips too short or something like that, or I want to make a change. If I can tack it all in place in the first place, check it all and then go from there. Obviously I'll need to break this part off, as I said, so that I can separate these two pieces and get all the way around there. But that's heaps to test fit. Away we go. This is the Varex module that I want to use. I've got one of these on my 180SX and it works really well. When it's closed it's practically silent, and when it's open it's practically like a straight pipe, so it suits me well for, you know, if you want to start it up really early or really late, something like that, or you know, if you might want to attract a little bit less attention to yourself. I think they work quite well. So I don't like this big tip though, so obviously I'm going to cut that off, fit these bad boys. But before I do that, I was just trying to show how this works. So this module here is connected to a control box. It's just connected to 12 volt, and then you have the remote control obviously here. And when you adjust this, it adjusts the solenoid inside there, which adjusts the butterfly valve, which I'll show you now. I'm not really sure why it's clicking. It seems like it doesn't want to go all the way around. I did try and spray some WD-40 in there, try and lubricate it a little bit. Maybe that was why it's getting stuck or something like that, but it still seems to be having an issue, so I'll probably pull the module off now as well and just check that, and we'll see how we go. I didn't buy this one new, I bought this one secondhand, so I guess that's kind of the risk you run, especially as I bought it and then I just let it sit for ages before I did anything with it. So see how we go. So now check the module to see if this spins freely without it being connected to the valve there, and if it does, then I guess I can assume that there's a bit of resistance in there. That's what the issue is. So we can see there, no issue with that turning at all. So actually it was sort of just turning constantly before, and now it doesn't want to. I reckon it's the remote. Anyway, I will put this back together so that I don't lose anything. I guess I can open this up in case anyone else wants to know what battery to get. Like I said, I'll go get a new battery tomorrow probably for this. There's plenty I can do in the meantime, but now I am starving and I got a bunch of fresh veggies from my nana, so I'm gonna go make dinner.
I keep on watching the plane go down. It's raining outside. I see them copy the same old sound, painting our lives. But could you tell me what it is that I'm missing? Oh, keep that mind tucked in your prison. These prisms swell.
Yeah, or is it better if we overflow it? And birth poets, young kings set to overthrow it. Spread wings like what RD was just a scribble on some dotted paper. You hear things, now we major, huh? Long removed from the youth that I remained once. Now my crew maneuver your cities all on the same bus. Different kinds of louder, some sticky, all in the same blunt. Stayed hot through this, and that's how you do this. Everybody here to fuck with us, they fucking with the truest, and you knew this. You can take it home and then review it, that'll prove it. Get my point blank through the music. Let me stress this once for the rollers. This is not for the viewers on the inner tubers. This a living movement, something like a revolution. So if you feel this one, put your ones in the air. We the ones, you ain't even one yet, bitch.
I keep on watching the plane go down. It's raining outside. I see them copy the same old sound, painting our lives. But could you tell me what it is that I'm missing? Oh, keep that mind tucked in your prison. These prisons swell.
Yeah, to the point where it must evolve, divide, conquer, and then explode. Been spitting propane, underage, but still I made my own lane. Underpaid, but knew that one day I would get my own play. Olay, they was never ever fucking with my sound. Now it's the base of what we bringing you now. So get up in my face and I'll be kicking you out. Turn your bitch to a bitch with no blouse. That's ignorant as shit, but shit they know now. It's kinda funny, every lady wanna fuck with me. From centerfolds to guttery, minimal to double D's. I'm posted with my company, probably blazing 100 trees. It's green in abundancy, and the goods buttery, huh? So they can aim to push me, but they aim is whooshy. My flow tight like Asian. See, these lames is rookies. Got bread from baking cookies. Spill my chips on amazing hoodies, and then I just wonder.
I keep on watching the rain go down. It's raining outside. I see them copy the same old sound, painting our lives. But could you tell me what it is that I'm missing? Oh, keep that mind tucked in your prison. These prisons swell. I keep on watching the pain go down. It's raining outside. I see them copy the same old sound, painting our lives. But could you tell me what it is that I'm missing? Oh, keep that mind tucked in your prison. These prisons swell. I keep on watching the pain go down. It's raining outside. I see them copy the same old sound.
you can see here, just a standard muffler, and then that's fitted to the turbo back exhaust, which still has what I think is a cat. Well, it is a cat, but I'm not sure if it's been punched out or anything. I don't think it has. But you can see there that it's a bit agricultural, but it works well. You know, it's nice and quiet, past roadworthy, no dramas. So, but now it's time to get rid of it. Heaps of space under there for the Varex, which is a lot more than the 180, but it's obviously a much bigger car, so you know, you'd expect that. But yeah, you can hear a little bit of a backfire in that video. It's running a bit rich. I think it's probably the O2 sensor, so I do plan to change that. I just haven't yet, but I will order one. I know that there's quite a few different types for the RB25 for the DET, so feel free to let me know if you know which one it is, but otherwise I'm sure I'll work it out. So anyway, probably time to take this exhaust off once it cools down, of course, and we will start fitting up the new one. Hey, for real. So, of course it's just started raining, but I can't tell you what a luxury it is to actually have an undercover area to work on your car, considering I built the Corolla in my driveway in the middle of winter when it would just like constantly rain, be freezing, you know. Whenever it started raining, you'd have to try and race some stuff inside. When I put the final coat of paint on at the back of the car, it started raining overnight and then stuffed that up, so you can kind of see that if you look closely. You know, 10 years on, almost, now I've got somewhere undercover to work. Another 10 years, maybe I'll have a garage big enough to fit all my cars, who knows. Anyway, better go chop the front wheels. Thank you. Oh, you hate the camera so much. So, it's a decent size. I haven't actually measured it. I might even say that that's 3.5. No, it's probably 3. It's probably 3. But anyway, whatever. It's 3. It's going to be 3 here, so because I've already cut everything. So, a bit of a dodgy connection here. I don't even remember if there was a gasket on there. It's probably like half a gasket. But I have got a new one, so that'll be good. But if I move back a little bit, what's that rubber like? It's not too bad. What's that one like? It's on a bit of an angle there, but we'll make that work. Alright, let's go. I betcha I grabbed the wrong side. Oh no, I didn't. How about that? No. Right, I have to get a spanner. I know it's beeping. Oh shit. It did have a gasket. That was close. That's gross. I probably, if I was smart, which I'm not, I would have lubricated these bloody, oh fuck, I'll lubricate. Come on. I'm a bit lazy. Use silicone spray or bushing grease, but I'm not gonna. Oops. There we go. Whoops. Ah, there we go. I got it. Alright. I gotcha. Wow. So I did swear to myself that I wouldn't build another exhaust without a hoist. My recommendation would be don't do this on jack stands because it sucks. Anyway, now I'm going to just see how this sits. How it rests up in here. Where's your brother? Where's he? Go get him. Go on. Go. Here it comes. Right, so I might and see if I can show you guys what I'm thinking. What I really want to do here is I want to have these tips in here and I want to have them to the left and just slightly up like that. I must be able to go right up there. It'll only be out by a tiny bit with those extra pies, because on the 180 I've kind of got the tips, you know, like right out of the bumper, but I made these ones a bit shorter because I just wanted it to be a bit more subtle, you know, for the daily. So yeah, see how we go. Let's cut this thing off. There we go. You can see my sweet earmuffs, but that looks pretty good. And actually, I think I probably could fit it in the bandsaw, but seeing as how that cut came out pretty good, I reckon I'm just going to give this one a go. So this is something that I made specifically for this purpose, which is to mark a tube like this one, where you might need to cut it with an angle grinder, where you can't put it in the bandsaw or something similar to get a nice even cut. So they're magnetic, and all they do is just click straight over the top and stick together like that, and then it allows you to make a nice even mark. So that came out pretty good, other than where you can see I deviated from the line a little bit just there. Pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. Warm. Damn, they look good. Kind of like that. That's what I'm thinking, you know, out to the side a little bit. So I've had a fair bit of a play around with it, and you can see here I've just taped up some pies onto this. Normally I would use the pie cut templates that I've made up, but for this particular application I only need a couple of them, and it's just a little bit easier just to do it, mock it up this way, as opposed to doing like a large full bend. So now that I've got these all taped in place, I'm going to go ahead and just tack them in place. A bit annoying, this weld here seems to be back purged. It's nice and clean. Doesn't seem like there's any oxidization or anything like that. But if I turn this around, unfortunately you can see there's oxidization and it's all a bit dodgy in there. So I will still back purge the tips when I weld them, because it's good practice, I think, for me. But then when I weld this on here, I'll back purge it as well, but I don't know, I mean, it's going to get full of crap anyway, but oh well, it is what it is. So there we go, tacked up. So it's a bit hard to see at the moment because the car's obviously not that high, just being on the stands, but I'm not really happy with the length of the tips, because obviously you can see where they end here and then merge, and they just look like a couple of little chodies. So I'm going to push the muffler back and I'm going to recut these longer so that the muffler can be further under the car and you can't see what's going on right at the end there. It's a bit of a waste of time. So that's why I tacked it all together, so that I could test fit. I did think there was a chance that they were too short when I was cutting them, but that's why we test. So now I'll try again. So because I messed around a lot today doing other stuff besides just doing the exhaust, I've run out of time now, especially as those tips are too short and I need to cut new ones. So I've actually put the old muffler back on for now because I need to drive the car tonight. I need to go to my friend Jaden's place and drop off a bunch of empty sauce bottles because it's sauce day tomorrow. And unfortunately I'm going to miss out, so they're going to be making the sauce and I'm just going to take it off him. But I owe you one, thanks Jaden, I really appreciate it. And I'm also going to drop off a set of wheels which I was originally going to put on the Stagea before I got some new ones, which I'll be putting on next week, and I'm looking forward to showing you those as well. So his dad's got a fair lane that he reckons he's going to squeeze them under. So we'll see how he goes with that. So I'm going to go drop those off now and call it a night. I've had enough for today. I will get stuck back into this over the next couple of days and have an update for you then. Cheers. So, here at Jaden's house, let's drop off sauce bottles for sauce and wheels.